Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Lambert. I'm here today to talk to you about related words. This week we're going to be talking a lot about homophones, homonyms, homographs, synonyms and antonyms, and analogies. So I wanted to go ahead and give you a quick overview with this Google slide. You all have access to the Google slide, so you will be able to use it and to see it. You will not be able to edit it because I don't want any of you writing weird comments on it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what related words mean. Okay, so related words is all about how does a word connect to another word. Okay, so through a synonym or an antonym, through an analogy, through a homonym. Okay, so we're going to focus on those today. If at any point you have a question, please reach out. You can email me, find me on Google Chat. If you need me, I will definitely hop on a Google Meet with you. I do plan to actually have a Google Meet later this week for anybody that does have questions. Please be aware, okay, of when those Google Meets are. Some of you are emailing me days after I've had a Google Meet saying you can't get onto the Google Meet, okay? I will try to make sure you know when those are. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So for this week, our learning objective is that we'll be able to infer what words mean through the identification of analogies and other word relationships like synonyms and antonyms. I know you all know what a synonym and an antonym are, but I do want to kind of review it, get your brains thinking outside the box a little bit. Okay, so a synonym is two or more words that have a similar meaning: rock and stone, intelligent and smart. If you look them up in the dictionary, they don't have the same exact meaning, but they do have very similar meanings and can be used interchangeably. Okay, so I could say, oh, that rock over there is nice. And I can also say, oh, that stone over there is nice. Same thing with intelligent and smart. Antonyms, on the other hand, are two or more words that have an opposite meaning. Okay, so smart and dumb, or high and low. So they are the exact opposites of each other. So you cannot interchangeably use them. If I said that, oh, that bird feeder is high, okay, I can't say, oh, that bird feeder is low, and it means the same thing. They're completely different and they're opposites. This is where it gets tough, homonyms. Homonyms are words that are pronounced or spelled the same, okay, but they have different meanings. There are two kinds of homonyms. You have a homograph and you have a homophone. And I'm going to spend the rest of this time mostly talking about homographs and homophones because they're very confusing to some of you, and I want to make sure that we understand them before we, of course, go into 8th grade next year. So let's talk about a homograph. Homographs are spelled alike, okay? They can be said differently, and they definitely have different meanings. Not all homographs are pronounced differently, but some of them are, okay? Example, we're going to get to in the next slide. So this is a pair of homographs: bass, over here on the left-hand side, and bass. Okay, bass, we're talking about like a bass guitar or a cello or whatever, a bass instrument. And a bass, we're talking about a fish. They are spelled exactly the same, but they are not pronounced the same. And they have completely different meanings. Remember, not all homographs are pronounced differently. Just some of them are pronounced differently. So let's go ahead and look at a chart of some common homographs. Quarter and quarter. It's 12:15. I used a quarter to buy a piece of cake. Spelled the same. In this case, they sound the same, but they have different meanings. Same thing with bat and bat. I'm afraid of bats. It's his first time at bat. Spelled the same. In this case, they are pronounced the same, but they have different meanings. Okay, we already talked about bass and bass. Okay, can and can. I can do it, or that can of soup. Okay. all of these would be considered homographs. In this case, all of these except for bass and bass are pronounced the same, but not all homographs are pronounced the same. I know, it's a little confusing sometimes. So let's move on past a homograph. Remember, going back just a quick second, homograph is spelled the same, they have different meanings, and a lot of them are said or pronounced differently. Not all of them. Homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same, okay, but they have different meanings. Okay, they may be spelled alike or they may be spelled differently. So going back to this homograph chart, bat and bat, bank and bank, can and can, letter and letter, they can all be homophones too. Okay, so it just is a little weird here and there, but they can be homophones as well. Just know that both of them fall underneath the homonym. Okay, and they are words that are pronounced or spelled the same, have different meanings. Okay, so let's kind of move forward. Okay, so muscles, like I know you guys out there, you're working out your muscles. Okay, versus mussels, what you eat, fish. Okay, spelled differently, sound the same, but they have completely different meanings. Here are some examples of homophones. Way and way, hair and hair, sun and sun, stairs and stairs, ate and ate, flower and flower, board and board, deer and deer, I and I, one and one. Okay, you see all of these examples, they sound the same, but they're spelled differently, and they have different meanings. You can look at this whenever you want to use this to help you when we do some other things this week with homophones, okay? But just be aware that not all homophones are spelled differently, and not all homographs are spelled differently, okay? Or sound the same. So, moving on to the last part of today, we're going to talk about an analogy. Analogies are used to show relationships between pairs of words. And there are many different types of analogies that we're going to go over. But here's an example. Okay, drink is to lemonade as eat is to hamburger. So you drink lemonade and you eat a hamburger. Can you drink a hamburger? Can you eat lemonade? No, I don't think so. Okay, usually when you're given an analogy, one of the words that I have underlined is missing. And you have to figure out what the relationship is between the words by looking at the other pair of words. So like if I took out the word lemonade and I just said drink is to blank as eat is to hamburger, okay, you have to figure out, okay, so I eat a hamburger, so what do I drink? Lemonade could be an answer, pop can be an answer, water can be an answer, okay? It's not a one size fits all, it's just showing the relationship between the words. You don't drink a hamburger. You don't eat lemonade. Okay, so you have to figure out what the relationship is. Okay, and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into analogies later this week. So this is just a surface level type of a activity. So let's look at types of analogies. So there are many different types of analogies. A part to whole. So you need part of it to make it whole. So you need a battery in a flashlight, okay? Or think of it this way, a battery is part of a flashlight and a hard drive is part of a computer, right? A battery is part of a remote. Okay, be thinking about parts to wholes. Cause and effect, all right? If I am tired, which that's what fatigue means, then I yawn, okay? So the effect is I'm yawning, the cause is I'm tired. If I'm itchy, then I'm scratching, right? So the effect is I'm scratching, the cause is because I'm itchy, okay? A person to a situation. So like this would be like a job type of deal. So like the mother in the home, a teacher to the school, a doctor to a hospital, a businessman to an office, okay? These would be person to situations. Synonyms and antonyms are usually the most common ones you're going to see on a test. Okay, so obese is the same thing as fat, slender is the same thing as thin, poverty, the opposite of poverty, we're talking about antonyms here, is wealth, the opposite of sickness is health. Okay, geography, where things are placed at. Chicago is in Illinois, Denver is in Colorado, Struthers is in Ohio. Okay, measurement. A pound is to a kilogram, a quart is to a liter. Measurements are usually used in like science and math, and they do ask you to convert them, don't they? So that's a type of an analogy, is you are showing a relationship between numbers to other numbers. And of course, time. So March is in spring, December is in winter, noon is midday, 6 p.m. is evening, okay, 5 a.m. is morning. Okay, this is all time. So these are just some types of analogies. I don't expect you to know them all, and you're not going to be tested on them right this moment. But it's good to know, again, that an analogy is a showing a relationship between two words. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you're given an analogy question, that you are trying to figure out, okay, is it a part to the whole? Is it a cause and effect? Is it a person to a situation? Are they synonyms? And you're never going to find just two of them. When you look at an analogy, it's going to give you four, okay? And one of them is going to be missing so that you can figure out what the relationship is. Okay, so now that we have done the PowerPoint here and you've watched this lovely video, I want you to go back to Google Classroom and you're going to find a quiz. It's called Related Words. Okay, please take that quiz. And then I want you to answer the discussion question that I'm going to be posting. And of course, respond to two classmates. Please, please, please respond to your classmates. All of you have the ability to do so. I don't need it to be a long, strung out thing. Just talk to each other, okay? And because that's part of your grade. It's not just answering the question. It's also commenting on two classmates. Even if you and there's only two other people that have written an answer to the question, just write on those two. I don't care if you write on people who you're friends with or anything like that. When you are ready to submit, okay, please make sure you reread the directions. A lot of people are getting points taken off for these discussion questions because they're not writing them in complete sentences. They're not using textual evidence. So I'm asking for textual evidence, okay, and then I'm sending it back to them and saying I'm not grading it. And then they can't unsubmit it. So they have to then write a whole other comment underneath what they already posted. Okay, so please be careful. You are allowed to edit. You are allowed to comment. You are allowed to do all of those things. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will let you know about that Google Meet later this week.